You wouldn't know it to look at it today, but once these little rolling hills were the richest place on earth. Today, I travel to the towns of Castlemaine and Maldon in the Victorian Goldfields. It's an area rich with history and is fast becoming a hub for the arts and for foodies. Just 90 minutes out of Melbourne, there's something about this area that draws you back into a simpler time. It may be peaceful and idyllic now, but when gold was found here in 1851, suddenly things changed. 30,000 miners, diggers, just ordinary people, moved up from Melbourne, came from overseas, arrived in Melbourne and moved up here, what is now Chewton, in search of gold and their riches. More than 61 million ounces of gold was taken from these grounds. At one point, it was something like 20,000 ounces of gold was being found each day. Right through this creek bed, there's all these irregular shapes and mounds, and that's the result of the mining that went on here. They were digging out and just piling up dirt and searching for gold. It's pretty quiet. There's nothing here. I can just hear old crows cawing, and that's about all. There is a little path that comes through here, so if you really want to, you can explore it further, go for a little bit of a bushwalk. But otherwise, it's a very quiet and peaceful place. Look at this. So this is quartz, and it was within the quartz that they found a lot of the gold. Yeah, nothing in this one. Which makes me wonder, is there still gold in the ground here? And something I read recently pretty much says, yeah, there is. They reckon they've only found about half of what's here. But it must be deeper, or it must be more difficult, because after the 1850s, the gold rush finished, and I guess the miners just didn't find enough to make it worthwhile. But this is unbelievable. The richest place on earth. It's so peaceful. It's actually really beautiful. And it's really hard to imagine 30,000 people here, all camped and in bush huts and digging and drinking and having fun and quarrelling and arguing and doing all the things that gold prospectors do when they're here en masse. But now it's just a peaceful place to have a little walk in the bush. That's pretty cool. But Golden Point Road wasn't where the first bit of gold was discovered. That was right here on Specimen Gully Road, which is just out of Castlemaine. Here we have a stone hut, which was a landowner, Mr. Barker, lived here with his help. One of them was a shepherd who was called Christopher John Peters, and it was on 20th of July 1851 that Christopher Peters stumbled across some gold, and that started the whole gold rush. Just to put into significance what happened here. So Christopher Peters found that speck of gold, and it was announced to the world that there was gold here, Melbourne's population doubled, then tripled, and then quadrupled. And basically Melbourne became the busiest port in the world, and the state produced 33% of the world's gold. Wow. Oh, and for the guy that found the gold, did he make it rich? No, he got fined for mining without a license. What? Oh my God, it was tough in those days, hey? So this little statue here, this is the story of a woman in the 1940s. She wandered out into her backyard just to hang up a washing or something or other, and the ground just gave way beneath her. Apparently her house was built on an old mine shaft. She went down. Fortunately, she was saved, and she lived to hang out her washing another day. But yeah, you got to be careful around here. You never know quite what's underneath the ground or underneath your house. No danger then, huh? So these are the foundations of a giant water wheel, and that was used to bring water down to the township from Expedition Pass Reservoir. Wow, so those foundation stones that have got a bit of height to them weren't even half as high as the entire wheel. The wheel went twice as high as this. That's seriously impressive, an impressive piece of gold mining era engineering. 5 minutes up the road from Chewton is the beautiful town of Castlemaine. The Theatre Royal behind me claims to be Australia's oldest continuously used theatre. This was built in the gold rush to entertain the diggers. It's had a few refurbishments since. These days it's a cinema and a live music venue. So apart from being the centre of when the gold rush was here, Castlemaine these days is a really cute little town. Well, it's not so little. It's got lots of Victorian era architecture. It's really pretty. Lots of cafes and restaurants. There's a real foodie culture going on here, and it's also got a kind of artisan bohemian atmosphere to it. A lot of alternative people have moved into this region over the years. Not a lot in the way of flowers and things at the moment because it's still winter here in Australia. It's August. So in a couple of months from now, suddenly everything will come alive again, and it'll be a pretty place, a really nice place for a picnic or something like that. As I wandered round the gardens, I could hear bagpipes, so of course I had to see where the racket was coming from. That was absolutely beautiful. I'm really not a fan of bagpipes, but standing there with all that resonating around, just went straight to my heart. That was absolutely sensational. They're looking for members.
Well, yes.
They're looking for members. Here's the phone number.
So it's drummers and pipers.
Geez, I must have some rogue Scott in me somewhere I didn't know about. That was really powerful. Next stop was Castlemaine's Old Jail. I remember coming through this jail years ago, and it was not in use, but historically you could see what it was like. But now it's been turned into an art gallery, and it's incredible. The prison was bought by artist David Bromley and houses his collection and also works from other local artists. It really breathes new life into the old jail space. Next, I headed out of Castlemaine towards the town of Maldon, about a 15-minute drive away. And if you're loving the history of this area and you want to buy in on a piece of history, how about this old cottage? It's for sale. Renovator's delight, I'm guessing. I've now come into the town of Maldon. It's an old gold town. This is like the town that time forgot. It's incredible. It looks a lot like it would have looked in the 1800s. So a gold town, but these days lots of cafes and knick-knack shops and artisan shops. It's a beautiful little town. They have a wonderful folk festival here every year. I'm not sure what time of the year it is, I'll let you know. Aside from the cafes, it still looks like it's the 1850s or 1860s in a lot of this town. I feel like I should be wearing a cowboy hat or something. In fact, people love to dress up to come to Maldon, whether you're having a beautiful high tea at Maldon Rose.
It's stunning, isn't it?
It's just a little snack, huh?
Mm-hmm. Something light. Yeah.
Something light, that's beautiful. Or just wandering the streets.
Yeah.
This is what you wear on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's my
Of
Sunday
course.
best.
But I'm really famished. I haven't eaten all day, so I'm coming into the Maldon Bakery, established in 1854. Something special about this bakery.
Hi, welcome to Maldon Bakery. We are the oldest continuing running bakery in Victoria.
Australia.
In Australia, actually. Yeah, Australia. And come and get some sponge and our sourdough collection of bread. Beautiful, delicious.
Lentil and vegetable pie. Winner. That's delicious. Hello? Hello? G'day. It's a happening little town, this one. Little bars and cafes. And people who like to dress up. It's fun. And it also seems to be a place where vintage car enthusiasts like to come up for the day. There's a few of them around. I've come off the main road now to a small town called Friars Town. But once upon a time, this town had 15,000 miners, 25 hotels. Geez, they drank a lot. 5 schools, I think, and 5 breweries. And now it's a sleepy little town with maybe 200 people at most. But it's very cute. And that's about it. I can't even find a general store. So just a handful of houses here now. And finally, just up the road, I've come to a little town called Vaughan. Again, this place had 13,000 miners here, mostly Chinese apparently, but these days, just a handful of houses, just a handful of people. There is a Chinese cemetery here. It's actually nice to see a little bit of acknowledgement for the Chinese. There were plenty of Chinese that came for the gold rush, and for many, many years history kind of forgot them, but these days we're recognizing them because they were pioneers just like the Europeans. And I've come to the town of Vaughan because they have natural mineral springs here, so let's give that a try. Taste a bit like sulphur and rusty pipes. It's probably good for you though, I don't know. Well, I've had a great time in the Goldfields. Castlemaine, Maldon, and a couple of the smaller towns. Highly recommend you come up this way. Probably spend a weekend. I was a little bit rushed trying to do it in one day. There's still plenty to see. I feel like I've only just really scratched the surface. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.